KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
The lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court here in L.A.
Well, let's try that over again. Restarting, the sanctuary fight escalates. I'm Mark Bronner, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
The lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court here in L.A. calls sanctuary city status illegal and accuses the city of assisting illegal immigrants evade law enforcement. The suit names the city, Mayor Bass, and the L.A. City Council, accusing them of obstructing the federal government's enforcement of immigration laws. The government's filing says it wants sanctuary status to be declared invalid based on the Constitution's supremacy clause, giving the federal government the ability to enforce laws enacted by Congress. U.S. Attorney Bill Staley says L.A.'s policy is unlawful and discriminatory. Michael Monks, KFI News.
L.A. has been sued by the White House over its sanctuary city policy. The city of L.A. introduced its sanctuary city policy before Trump's election last November and enacted it after his win. At the time, City Councilwoman Eunices Hernandez said the city needed a policy with teeth to protect illegal immigrants here.
Every day we wait. The 1.3 million immigrants in the city of Los Angeles wait, and they're left unprotected, and our promises fall flat.
The city council has allocated hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend itself against potential federal investigations. It's expected to ask the city attorney's office tomorrow to prioritize immediate legal action to protect L.A. residents from being racially profiled by federal agents. L.A. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh has been named in a class action lawsuit. ABC's Melissa Adan says it's tied to the alleged hacking of a student-athlete's personal information, including intimate photos by a former University of Michigan assistant football coach.
The lawsuit alleges Harbaugh and other top school officials learned just before a major playoff game in 2022 that assistant football coach Matthew Weiss was allegedly accessing female students' personal information.
She says the plaintiffs allege Harbaugh did not implement basic security measures that would have stopped Weiss. Forget the movie star home tours. There are now disaster tours in Southern California.
And LA City Council member Tracy Park wants them to stop. She's introduced a motion to stop tour buses from rolling through the Pacific Palisades burn area. Park called the so-called disaster tours despicable and an exploitation of tragedy for profit. Her motion would restrict tour bus operations in areas deemed unsafe during the ongoing emergency. It also calls on the City Department of Transportation to come up with a map of restricted areas and asks the LAPD and the city attorney to come up with a plan to enforce it. The area just reopened to the public on June 14th. Amy King, KFI News.
A man with a rifle ambushed firefighters responding to a wildfire in a mountain town near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, killing 2 and injuring a 3rd.
I need law enforcement up here immediately. We've got 2 unresponsive battalions use gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. 2 Coeur d'Alene firefighters are down.
That firefighter said he was pinned down behind a fire truck.
It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
The shooter was later found dead. A weapon was found next to him, and officials used a signal from his cell phone to find him and say they had to scoop up his body before the fire got to it. Southland weather from KFI. We got some clouds and fog tonight. Lows around 60. Clearing up and sunny by the afternoon tomorrow with highs in the low 80s. 90s in the valleys, AV and IE, and mid-70s at the beaches. Not much more than a couple degrees change from that all this week. Right now it's 67 in Brea, 65 in San Clemente, 65 in Koreatown, 72 in Agora Hills. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Mark Bronner.
Looking to sell your valuable coins, high-end jewelry, collectibles, or fine art? Meet Cindy. She's been around the block when it comes to buying and selling jewelry.
I buy jewelry to resell. I've been going to Tangible for about 6-7 years.
Tangible just pays more.
Here's a great example of the Tangible difference. I bought a gold and sapphire bracelet. I shopped it around. They offered me $50. They offered me $100. I brought it to Tangible and gave me $475 for it.
More cash, more respect.
Tangible treats me as well as they do the person coming in with, $10,000 worth of gold.
Tangible Investments owner Syl DeGenova has become America's top dealer in coins, precious metals, jewelry, and fine art. Syl guarantees you'll get more.
Everything I've heard about them on the radio is true.
Call now for a no-obligation free professional appraisal. 800-711-2800. 800-711-2800. 711-2800.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
NetSuite is your AI-powered business management system in one convenient suite, uniting finance, accounting, inventory, HR for a smarter, faster business. Everyone works from the same numbers. It helps you forecast the future, and tell me that isn't important now. If your business does $2 million or more per year, take a good look at NetSuite. You won't be alone. Over 41,000 businesses have done so. Go to netsuite.com/handle. Get the CFO's guide to AI and machine learning. netsuite.com/handle.
Hello, California. My name is Stephen J. Klubeck, raised right here in the Golden State. I love this state. I grew up here when California was the land of opportunity and aspiration. I built businesses, raised my family, and lived the California dream. But today, California is no longer affordable, livable, nor workable. I call it like I see it. I fix the unfixable in business and politics and save the most broken companies by facing the hard truths and demanding accountability. From a busboy to the boardroom, I've always put others first. It's time for us to unify, roll up our sleeves, and bring back a California that works for everyone with simple solutions for a better life. Twice a month on my podcast, Hard Truths with Stephen J. Klubeck, we cut through the noise and face the hard truths head on, having genuine conversations on the California values that matter most: integrity, collaboration, respect, and solutions. If you're ready for real talk, a few laughs, and some hard truths, tune in to the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Paid for by Klubeck Company.
Oh no. Stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
From the City of Angels near the Pacific Ocean, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be across the nation, around the world. I'm George Norrie. This is Coast to Coast AM. Later tonight, The Other Side. Here's what's happening. Several Southern California cities and others around the country have discontinued plans for various July 4th events, citing safety concerns and immigration enforcement and public posts announcing the cancellation. Suburban Los Angeles cities, each overwhelmingly Latino in population, have scuttled planned movie screenings and Independence Day celebrations as fears of ongoing immigration and customs enforcement raids continue to ripple through the state. Let's hope and pray everything goes well. A family vacation aboard a Disney Cruise Line's Disney Dream took a terrifying turn when a father reportedly jumped into the ocean to save his daughter after she fell overboard. Thank God, the response to the ship's crew, both were rescued within minutes. Everybody's okay. If you lose access to your Google or other major services' online accounts, your emails, photos, and rest of your digital life may be locked out from your access permanently, and some of the new security features being pushed by some firms may make this situation even worse. Let's ask our expert, Lauren Weinstein. Lauren, why is this all happening?
Well, at the same time, big tech is trying to get us to hand over even more of our lives to their tender embrace, now pushing us to accept their frequently inept and saturated with errors generative AI systems, whether we want them or not, of course. Many people are still struggling with the way some of these firms treat them as relates to the legacy applications that most of us have become dependent on over the years, like email, for example. And more than ever, losing access to your account at these firms, and I'll use Google as my example, they're not the only one, can be devastating to your life. Now, you can be cut off from all new and old email, your photos, all kinds of stuff. And every day, innocent users do get cut off from all that because Google locks innocent users out of their accounts due to issues related to passwords or where they're trying to log in from, or a lost device or a new device, or it's a rather long list. And ironically, a new security feature that Google and other big tech firms are really pushing hard may make the situation worse for some users rather than better. Now, this is called passkeys, and you may already have seen prompts for these and even perhaps unknowingly accepted some onto your device or devices. These are cryptographic tokens that are designed to replace usernames and passwords and two-factor authentication, and in theory are more secure since they shouldn't be spoofable by attackers. Google really wants you using these, and it seems that the Chrome browser, at least some versions, is now defaulting, not even asking you if you want passkeys, but rather where to put them when a site offers them. You can still cancel out, but of course the interface is designed to get you to quickly click acceptance and not click at the small cancel button. Passkeys are often device-centric. There's service portability efforts and cross-device syncing services, but the idea is that some outside attackers should not be able to use your passkeys to access your accounts. However, this also means that anyone else that knows how to access your device will typically have access to all your services that use passkeys as well. And with many people choosing not to use biometric authentication like fingerprints or Face ID due to conflicting legal decisions regarding related privacy concerns, that makes the specter of, for example, a phone thief capturing your authentication sequence before stealing your phone in a crowded venue even more of a concern. Big tech is likely to eventually force the issue when it comes to passkeys because generally they really don't care much about users who are disadvantaged by these systems. Personally, I'm avoiding use of passkeys as long as possible, but of course your decision is always yours when it comes to your own devices. This wouldn't be quite as serious a problem if Google's atrocious account recovery systems and policies were less of a train wreck for many users, especially non-techies and persons who have a single device that they use for all of their internet access. And there are a lot of people in both of these categories. I've argued directly with Google many times about how they can improve their account recovery systems and protocols, including in cost-neutral ways. We really should demand that innocent users who get locked out of their accounts, and that can still happen with passkeys, have reasonable recourse for regaining access at least to their data and preferably to the entire account. But Google seems to insist that working to stop account fraud makes it impossible for them to help these innocent users more. I disagree. It's completely practical to do both. In my opinion, Google just doesn't want to bother. And what seems to be their current all that matters is AI mindset, I'm afraid that absent some rather unlikely changes of heart among Google executives, the situation for many users could become drastically worse.
My friend, we'll keep our eyes on that one. What are the odds of getting hit by an asteroid? Let's check in with best-selling author Mike Barer, author of Ancient Aliens and JFK. Mike, what are the chances?
Well, George, they're actually getting lower than you would think. Today is World Asteroid Day 2025, and you can celebrate the event by live streaming real-time views of near-Earth asteroids from the comfort of your own home. This is an annual United Nations-backed event where partners raise awareness of asteroids, their scientific value, and how humanity is working to mitigate the risks posed by these wandering solar system bodies. The date coincides with the anniversary of the 1908 Tunguska event, which saw a large meteor, or people think was a large meteor. I personally think it was Tesla, but flying over Siberia and detonating, and it flattened millions of trees and triggered widespread forest fires. If it had happened over a city like London, we would have lost the entire city. So there's this constant danger that we're always worried about an asteroid strike, basically taking out all of humanity and wiping out most of the life on Earth. But this virtual telescope program has this live stream going today. It's going on right now. You can go over and sign up to it. It's hosted on the Virtual Telescope Project's YouTube channel. It started at 5 p.m. today, Eastern Time, and it's still going on. And the idea is to protect the planet from an impending asteroid strike by basically just, scanning the skies constantly. And this may have once been the stuff of Hollywood sci-fi movies, but recent decades have shown that we can take tangible steps toward preparing for a potential asteroid collision. And the Planetary Defense Conference is held each year at NASA. ESA and its partners work to prevent and react to the hypothetical asteroid impact. And they have a series of exercises, and this is part of that. They're constantly scanning the night sky for evidence of potentially hazardous near-Earth objects. And this was originally from an instrument called the Vera Rubin Observatory in the Southern Hemisphere, which was created to look for dark matter and dark energy, which actually don't exist. But they've already found, using this instrument for asteroids, 5 times more than all the astronomers in the world discovered during the last 200 years since we first knew about asteroids. So the thing is, they can outdo 2 centuries of effort in just a couple of years, and that's really phenomenal, and it's really encouraging that we now have these new instruments that can do this kind of stuff.
I like it. Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you next week. As you know, for years we've been talking about protecting our power grid from an EMP attack or a solar flare from the sun. In a moment, William Forstchen, author of 1 Second After, joins us to talk about the possibility of building a protective dome over the United States. Will it work? He's next on Coast to Coast AM. Here's a life-saving stat for you. Did you know that 80% of strokes are preventable? So how can you manage your heart health at home, on summer vacation, or between doctor's visits? You can with the most advanced personal EKG on the market, KardioMobile 6L, the world's first FDA-cleared 6-lead personal EKG. It can detect up to 6 of the most common arrhythmias, including AFib, a leading cause of stroke, and gives you 6 times the data of any smartwatch at a fraction of the cost. Now you may think it would be hard to use, but it's not. It's so simple, records right to your phone anytime, anywhere. To make it even easier, right now KardioMobile 6L is 10% off. Just go to Kardia.com, that's Kardia.com, or Amazon and use code 106LGeorge. That's the number 106LGeorge to get 10% off your KardioMobile 6L today.
Global tensions are escalating fast, and the threats aren't just overseas. Experts are warning about sleeper cells already inside the U.S., homeland attacks, cyber sabotage, grid takedowns. When the lights go out, grocery stores are empty, and help isn't coming. The only ones who don't panic are the ones who prepared ahead of time. That's why My Patriot Supply created the Independence Day Preparedness Bundle. It includes a massive 1-year emergency food supply, plus over $1,200 in free gifts. 1 full year of food, water filtration, solar power, all in one kit at a huge discount with lightning-fast free shipping. Head to mypatriotsupply.com/radio. That's mypatriotsupply.com/radio. And grab the Independence Day bundle while you still can. This is more than a great deal. It may be your last chance to make sure your family is ready for what could be coming. Grab your Independence Day bundle now at mypatriotsupply.com/radio.
And welcome back to Coast. George Noory with you. We've got a great program for you tonight. William Forstchen back with us, author of more than 50 books ranging from science fiction to history and technological issues. He holds a PhD from Purdue University with specializations in military history and the history of technology. He is best known for 1 Second After, a novel about the threat of electromagnetic pulse weapons and also solar flares from the sun. He's also written 5 Years Later as well. William, welcome back, my friend. How you doing?
George, it's always great to be with you. Good evening.
You're one of the good guys, Bill. I love you.
I'm still trying out there. As we've said in the earlier programs, I still miss Dr. Fry. He was the real godfather that taught all of us about this.
What would he be saying right now, Bill?
I think he would be at least a little bit optimistic with the events of the last 2 weeks, which displayed an incredible performance by our military, and also the conversation now has hit on Golden Dome. So I think that is part of the path for a better future.
We'll get into this Golden Dome in a moment, but give people an explanation. What is an EMP? What is a solar flare?
All right, the 1-minute primer. EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse weapons. It's created by lofting a small atomic bomb, 40 to 80 kiloton, about 4 to 5 times the size of the Hiroshima bomb, over the United States. The worst case attack would be 3 such weapons over eastern, central, western United States, 200 miles above the earth. When the weapon blows, it sets up an electrostatic discharge and a gamma ray discharge from the explosion called the Compton effect. Cascades down to the Earth's surface, and the millions of miles of wiring we have out there suddenly can also be antennas. Feeds into the grid, causing an overload, particularly on high tension lines, which literally would be exploding and going offline. So quite literally, 1 second after, the country goes dark. And according to a DOE study of several years back, 80% of the grid would still be offline 5 years later. It is the ultimate nightmare.
Now, how about a solar flare?
Basically the same. In fact, it's happening all the time. They're called CMEs, coronal mass ejection. That they are solar storms, high-energy solar storms, which blow off the sun's surface, literally just about every day. But, of course, space is a pretty damn big system, out there. So most of these will miss us. But once in a while, a CME will cut loose and come straight at us. You can recall several years back, we were talking about this because if the Earth had been 2 days back behind where it was, that CME would have hit us square on, creates basically the same type of event, ranging from EMP1 to EMP5. It blows the grid offline. And that is based on the Carrington event, which happened in 1859. That was the big one, that it blew out the Victorian internet. Telegraph stations were literally catching on fire. Train rails were actually heating up to the point that the ties were smoking and catching on fire. So if it could do that in 1859, what could it do to us today with the vast electrical and electrical system that we have? It's gone, global. It would be a horrific, worst-case nightmare.
Absolutely. Now, Israel has what is called the Iron Dome. President Trump has proposed a Golden Dome. What is the difference?
Okay, let's start with Iron Dome. I mean, over the last couple of weeks, we saw its performance. It seems almost sci-fi. Iron Dome protects against short-range missiles. It is essentially a counter-battery system that when an enemy missile is coming in, they'll launch a counter missile against it. It will hit that missile and blow it up. So the initial point there is Iron Dome is what I would call a tactical defense system. They also have David Sling, and I can't remember the name of the third one, 3 different systems to protect Israel. Golden Dome is designed to be a strategic defense for the United States, meaning it intercepts the enemy missiles not the last couple of miles, but thousands of miles away, and detonates and blows them up before they can threaten the United States. It is essential that we build this.
Israel's third thing is called Arrow and THAAD missile defense.
Right. And it wasn't it? I mean, we were watching this every night, particularly Fox, Trey Yanks, I believe is the guy's name. Just incredible defense against a relentless enemy. About 6 months back, the Iranians launched about 300 missiles at Israel. Only 3 got through. That's quite a batting average.
Now, will President Trump's proposal for a Golden Dome protect us from an EMP attack?
Absolutely, yes. That's why I'm so fanatically in support of this thing. Golden Dome is designed to hit enemy missiles long before they get over the United States, because an EMP attack is a bit like hand grenades and horseshoes. You don't have to get it precisely onto a target city like San Francisco. Just get it over California and then blow it. And then that shuts down the whole West Coast. Another one on the east shuts down the whole East Coast. So this is designed as a strategic defense, and it's going to cost money. But as the analogy I give, would you own a home and not have an insurance policy on it? You'd be crazy not to. This is an insurance policy for America.
Bill Forstchen with us. We're talking about protecting our United States. Bill, how long would it take to build a Golden Dome?
Well, there's elements of it already in place, but that dates back 40 years to Reagan's visionary strategic defense initiative. Same thing, counter-battery missile firing system. There are some units in place along the Alaskan coast, but that is an antiquated system. Golden Dome will be taking advantage of current technology. You saw what happened over Israel. Imagine the United States having such a system. The initial outlay will most likely be for several years to create a ground-based system, but eventually, across a span of a decade or more, a space-based system as well, using energy weapons.
And could you actually construct it to protect the entire United States?
Yes, absolutely yes. You're going to have to locate three major areas: East Coast of the United States, the Gulf Coast, which is a point of vulnerability, and the West Coast. Now, again, it would not take all that great effort to give a basic insurance policy for America.
Now, that is to protect against an EMP, but what about a solar flare from the sun?
George, we're screwed. To put it into very common language.
Great.
Yeah, you and I both know this, that against the CME, we don't have a hardened system. And we can talk about that. Hardening our electrical grid could help us and perhaps even prevent a major catastrophe. But that means investing deeply on United States energy production and distribution, upgrading the system. That's going to cost a lot of money, but again, an insurance policy.
How active is the president in pushing the possibility of getting something done?
Finally, I'll be honest, it's why I'm pro-Trump. Trump started an initiative back 45th, the term before Biden, and he had mandated that the government was to give a study about EMP, CME. That went to DOD, DOE, and all the other agencies. The report was due several months after the 2020 election. Well, we know what happened there. And when Biden came in on day one, he executive ordered a termination of his study, which it was jaw-dropping. Trump 47 is now far more active on this issue. So I'm more optimistic that we're finally going to get something done.
It's exciting, isn't it, Bill?
Yes. And, I'll reiterate something from the start. Peter Pry was an incredible leader in all this. He was really the godfather. I wish he had lived long enough to see that at least things are starting to go forward. But this is a very exciting time. And you and I have been talking for years, and there was a lot of deep pessimism. But I think we're starting to see a golden light on the horizon, Golden Dome.
What nation do you think would use an EMP attack against us?
Well, until 2 weeks ago, Iran was on top of my list.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. An incredible raid. I hope the president goes out to Missouri and shakes the hand of every pilot and co-pilot and the tanker crews that went with them. So, not anymore. North Korea is a player I'm scared of. They have between 30 to 50 nuclear warheads. We let them get away with building this going back 20 years.
And they have the missiles to reach us.
They also have the ICBM capability. So nothing is preventing them from one day, the guy says, oh, the heck with it. I'll take the United States out. I can do it.
What has held him back so far?
I wish I knew. I really do. I mean, there are times when I'm watching the news and seeing reports, the North Koreans have actually put out video of them launching an EMP strike against the United States.
Hold on for a second, Bill. Let's come back and talk about that in a moment. William Forstchen with us as we talk about EMPs and solar flares. We'll take calls with him next hour.
Don't forget to watch our TV show, Beyond Belief, with George Norrie. Just log on to beyondbelief.com.
Listen to Hard Truths with Stephen J. Klubeck wherever you get your podcasts. This week with Cory Booker.
KFI. More stimulating talk.
I'm Mark Ronner in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. An admission by SoCal Edison in connection with a fire in Sylmar in January could be used against it in another lawsuit. The LA Times reports attorneys say Edison's admission that its equipment might have started the Hearst fire could also be applied to another fire in the same area in 2019. The lawyers say the Saddle Ridge fire started the same way. Both fires were ignited under an Edison high-voltage power line in Sylmar. A man and a dog trapped in the LA River in Long Beach have died. 2 other people and a baby were rescued yesterday from a Lowhead dam. A second child was also in the water but was not hurt. And expect the roads to be packed for the 4th of July holiday. AAA says more than 72 million Americans are expected to hit the road for the holiday. The busiest travel days will be Wednesday, July 2nd and Sunday, July 6th. TSA expects to screen more than 18 million air travelers between Tuesday and the following Monday. Southland weather from KFI, some clouds and fog tonight, lows around 60. Clearing up and sunny by tomorrow afternoon with highs in the low 80s, 90s in the valleys AV and IE, and mid-70s at the beaches. No major changes from that all this week. From the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Mark Ronner.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749 or biglou.com.
KFI wants to give a huge shout-out to Cars for Kids, celebrating 30 incredible years of giving back to the community. You got a car to donate? Their decades of experience makes donating your vehicle quick and easy. Cars for Kids is an IRS-recognized charity, so you'll get the maximum tax deduction and a 3-night hotel voucher as a thank you. With over 1 million happy donors, let Cars for Kids take that car off your hands. Call now to donate. Here's that jingle, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS, or donate online, carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
still with the same financial advisor you've had for years? Are you sure your money is working as hard as it could be? It's time for a fresh set of eyes on your finances. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth. We do things differently, and our record of success proves it. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries. We always place your best interest first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. We have fully transparent pricing. The more you make, the more we make. It's that simple. Access a wide range of public and private investment options, tax and estate planning, and create guaranteed income for retirement. Personalized plans, all just a virtual call away. Schedule your free virtual consultation now. Call Trajan Wealth today at 310-299-9960. 310-299-9960.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Legal and tax planning services are provided by independent law firms. Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Private investment may require accreditation.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas. T-Mobile Arena, September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Escape to poolside paradise at MGM Resorts in Las Vegas. Sip on a refreshing cocktail. Lounge in a luxury cabana. Earn on nonstop fun with MGM Rewards. Book a sizzling summer escape today. Visit MGMRewards.com for details.
KFI, AM 640.
Knowing I love you. Anyone would take me in his arms and love me too. You could really ever and hurt me like you hurt me and be so.
From coast to coast and worldwide on the internet, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie.
We'll take your calls next hour with Bill Forstchen as we talk about protecting our power grid. Jump aboard and ask a question. Well, we're fresh back from our event in Everett, Washington. Folks, it went splendidly. The Coast to Coast listeners out there are just fantastic supporters. I had a great time. Tom had a great time. He's taken the week off, and he put in a lot of work out there. But it went great, so thank you so much. We'll be planning some more events next year. We'll tell you about that later on in the year. And by the way, we are trending as one of the top podcasters in the country, so take advantage of it. Go to that. And the Paranormal Podcast Network, just go to the coasttocoastam.com website. At the top of the homepage, it says podcasts. Click that. Or go to iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app and look for the Coast to Coast AM or the Paranormal Podcast Network app and come and get us. And here's something for you to build up that immune system.
HealthyLooking.com and Dr. Alan Millay bring 4 decades of experience in natural products for the exclusive Stem Cell Wellness Kit that works with your body's stem cells to assist your immune system. Here's Dr. Millay with more.
Whether it's physical activity, obesity, diet, smoking, low on hormones, stress, sleep disorders, or your age can be supported by reducing inflammation and aiding the body to heal itself appropriately. A stem cell is a cell waiting to be told what it needs to be. If there is inflammation, that inflammation needs to be stopped. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney disease, various types of cancer, depression, autoimmune disorders, osteoporosis, even fatty liver are chronic signs of inflammation and can be aided by supporting the body's ability to protect those cells that it needs. And that is the purpose of ImmuStem and AdaptoStem together, supporting the body to be the best it can be.
Dr. Millay, how will I feel after taking AdaptoStem and ImmuStem?
The ImmuStem is going to have an immediate effect. But I tell you, your immune system is starting to function better after 24 hours. You put AdaptoStem along with it, and most will feel it within 30 minutes.
Order now at HealthyLooking.com. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit from Dr. Millay protects your body's stem cells and will make you feel better faster. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit with AdaptoStem and ImmuStem is only available at HealthyLooking.com or toll free at 800-563-3980. That's 800-563-3980. Don't forget to enter promo code George for free shipping.
Order now to get your free gift, Mental Clarity, natural support for mental sharpness. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit at HealthyLooking.com.
Mars Mission 1, the fictional book based on real-world facts, the future you hope never happens. Author Christopher Lee Jones brings you Mars Mission 1, available on Amazon, bringing you real-world facts of what our world will look like if we allow the Kessler effect to continue to develop in a cliff-hanging detective story. The first crew lands on the surface of Mars when a missile blows up a satellite, creating thousands of pieces of debris. That debris sailing along at thousands of miles per hour, destroying more satellites, creating more debris, causing a non-stop chain reaction. The dreaded Kessler effect has begun. All satellites are being destroyed by debris, all cell phones fail, all GPS fails, all power fails. Life on Earth as we understand it may never be the same. Mars Mission 1, Surviving the Kessler Effect, you do not want to see it happen. Now available at Amazon, that's Mars Mission 1, Surviving the Kessler Effect. It's a great book. Mars Mission 1, Surviving the Kessler Effect.
Hi, Dave Michaels here. For generations, my family and I lived in the poorhouse, but not anymore. I found a way out, and on the way, I've proved a few things. People who are struggling, people who don't have enough money to enjoy life, don't want to be like that. They don't want to live that way. We just never had anyone to show us how to stop thinking like a poor person. Stop slaving away for a paycheck and take control of your own life. Become your own boss. We don't have to be poor. Get out of debt, repair your credit, plan for your future. It doesn't matter what age you are. I'm teaching my daughter to build her own business. She just bought a car for her mom, and she's only 8 years old. Leave the poorhouse in the rearview mirror. Thank you for listening and have a fantastic day.
Are you tired of being poor? Do what Dave Michaels did. Change your life for the better and help a lot of people along the way. Check out criticalhealthnews.com for a really good business opportunity. We don't have to be poor. Join our business team and let us show you our path to independence and well-being. New at criticalhealthnews.com. That's criticalhealthnews.com.
And welcome back, George Norrie, along with William Forstchen, as we talk about EMPs and solar flares. Bill, North Korea seems to be holding back with some restraint, don't you think?
For the moment, yes. I think a part of that is the Trump effect. For previous years under Biden, I was constantly worried about this issue. But Trump has sent a message to the world with his behavior over the last 2 weeks with supporting Israel. So, North Korea is quiet at the moment, but things could change. We both know that.
Absolutely. Now, one of the president's campaign promises was to end the Russian-Ukraine war almost instantly. That hasn't happened yet.
War is something that is a downward spiral. The longer a war is, the quicker things start going downhill in terms of logical behavior. It is illogical for the Russians to continue what they're doing. I do side with Ukraine on this, but the war is still going. Maybe something will break in the next month or two, but I'm not optimistic about that.
Why can't these countries all get together and say, let's build a planet that is the best for the people who can have a great life, and let's enjoy this place?
I wish we could all sing Kumbaya. It's so incredibly foolish, the things that we collectively do as a race. And one of them is we are hardwired towards violence. Controlling that violence can be very, very difficult.
Do you think Iran was indeed trying to build a nuke?
Hell yes.
What makes you say that, Bill?
The Iranians, for 20 years, have fantasized about building an intercontinental ballistic missile and putting an atomic warhead on top.
To end Israel.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Just last Friday, they had some sort of big rally, and everybody was in Iran shouting, "Death to America." And the people were being told, "Oh, we won the 12-day war. We drove the Israeli and American aggressors back." The place is a madhouse. So tragic, because 3/4 of the people living there were born after the revolution in Iran in 1979 and the Ayatollah. I would think the majority of them want peace, but you watch some of these rallies being held over there and you wonder, can we ever get these people to think logically in the same way Hamas and Hezbollah, no matter what we do, they're still aggressive systems.
Bill, tell people about the Carrington event from the 1800s.
Okay, it's named after, guess what, a guy named Carrington, who was an astronomer, who in 1859, he was actually taking photographs of the sun, and he detected a massive solar flare, so big, it was actually visible during the day. You could look at the sun, and on a foggy type of day, and there was actually a big spot there from this explosion. Well, this explosion, traveling at tens of thousands of kilometers an hour, actually a couple 100,000 kilometers an hour, came racing straight at us and hit the Earth's atmosphere. And it's almost like ringing a bell in terms of it hit with such intensity, it bent our magnetosphere. It was like a huge impact, a physical impact. And then suddenly everything started shorting off with the Victorian internet. Victorian telegraph stations literally catching on fire, railroad ties catching on fire. So that's the Carrington event of 1859. The big question is, how often does that happen, where it hits the Earth and delivers a massive blow?
It would have been considered an X what?
I think X5 plus.
Which is huge.
Well, we've had 2 times in the last year where here in North Carolina we've been able to see the Aurora Borealis. The Aurora Borealis is created by CMEs, usually very mild ones, but you get incredible light displays. I don't know if you've ever seen, George, have you ever seen an aurora?
I have. Gorgeous.
It's incredible. I'd say if God might have dropped acid and it's having a good time with the planet. I was in Iceland and saw a magnificent display. They're common there, but the further away you get from the North Pole, the possibility of a large CME is lessened. Closer to the North Pole, more vulnerable. The last big event that hit something was the event in Quebec about 25, 30 years ago that took the Quebec power system offline for several days.
And over the last couple of years, we've been very lucky because some X-flares have shot off the side of the sun and missed our planet, did it?
Yeah, I checked. I'll name the station, spaceweather.com. I check it every single day to see what's going on. And a couple of times there, they got big alerts going up. This could be a big one, but it brushes past us. And you recall several years back, you and I had a conversation. It was a couple of days after a major CME barely missed us, just barely, by about a day or two. Within 1 or 2 days back in our orbit, it would have hit it square on and really delivered a crushing blow to our system.
Are you concerned about Russia or China?
Not too much, because recall, both with Russia and China, we still have mutual assured destruction.
That's right.
You hit us, we hit you. Nobody wins. It's the rogue players that I'm frightened of.
They don't care, do they?
They definitely don't. I mean, the Iranians, I do believe the Iranians within days or a couple of weeks of having one warhead and several months of having up to 10 2 such warheads over Israel would pretty well destroy it. So, and these people are out in the streets screaming that they want this done. North Korea, the ultimate dictatorship, but they can behave irrationally as well.
I am told that most Iranian citizens love the way the United States operates.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, before the revolution of 1979, Iran was one of our closest allies. And they're remarkable people, the Persians. They were very westernized. And then the Ayatollah Khomeini came in and imposed draconian, frightening Islamic rule with a radical interpretation of the Quran and the Hadith. And that's been the dark hole they've been in now for 240 years.
Well, the Shah was not a Boy Scout by any means, but he at least was on our side.
Well, you know, compared to the Russian Revolution, was the Tsar a good guy? Not really. Did he execute several thousand people a year? Yes. But then after the revolution, we're talking about hundreds of thousands and finally millions of people perishing under the Lenin-Stalin regime. So Iran, they traded a not-so-good guy for a maniac.
What are the odds of getting Reza Pahlavi, the Shah's son, in power?
I couldn't answer that. I'm intrigued. I really don't know what the probability is. I mean, does he go over there and people rally to him? I think, first of all, they have to have a coup that takes the system down, and maybe at that point it's negotiated to bring him in as the peacemaker. I think it's a good idea.
Now, prior to the Golden Dome idea coming, you and I have been talking about protecting the power grid. That's still a necessity too, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, another DOE study of several years back pointed out that our electrical system, the system that keeps us alive with electricity, because without electricity, everything is gone, you know, all of it. And the death rate would be horrendous. 80 to 90% would die within a year for the water, food, medication, all these things. But the electrical system itself is antiquated. We're pumping our electricity in a system that, in part, is 40 to 50 years old. An upgraded system would go far in preventing an EMP hitting and destroying us if we were ever attacked. But that's going to cost money.
With William Forstchen, one of his books, 5 years later. Tell us about that title, Bill.
Okay. 5 years later, well, there's actually 3 books, 1 year after, 5 years after, and I think, I get my own titles confused. Final Day, all right? These are follow-up books on the whole issue of CME. 1 second after takes a realistic look at what would happen to a small town, and the next 3 books are the following events, obviously 1 year after and 5 years after, and then finally the Final Day, which wraps up the stories. I don't want to write any more books on EMP. They can get depressing.
Is there a light at the end of the table here? Or a tunnel?
Yeah, movie. 1 second after has been sold and it's already going into production.
Who's going to star in it?
I can't tell you.
Somebody we know?
Yeah. I hate to be cryptic, but I have to keep silent on some of that until they put the press releases out. But it's rapidly going forward. They're filming in Bulgaria because a lot of films are made there now, shooting sets and places from the first book. I'm really excited because the producer, the director, everybody I've been working with constantly, I keep hammering, make the darn thing realistic. Give us a realistic look at what happens post-EMP, and so far they're doing a good job.
Is it going to include solar flare or primarily EMP?
It will be solely focused on EMP, but if we move a couple years down the road with a follow-up or TV series, that becomes a possibility.
And are you going to reveal the rogue nation that detonates?
The finger is pointed generally at North Korea.
Will we know that in the film?
I don't know. I have a script. I've gone through 5 different scripts. I think they do talk about it at some point because, we should realize this could be a rogue group. Imagine a Hezbollah that obtains some weapons from a mysterious source, put it on a container ship, get it off the coast of the United States, launch it. So there's more than North Korea that could be a potential threat in the future.
So this is before a dome is built, huh?
Yes. Again, that's why I'm so radically in favor of this and enthusiastic. I'm very optimistic, George, and we've been talking for 15 years. Golden Dome, one in place, will protect us from an EMP strike.
How much does a Golden Dome cost?
They're saying $25 billion. And, you sort of get to the point, what the heck? We spent billion. We spent $10 billion on charging stations, and we built 7 of them. The previous administration wasted $1 trillion on all sorts of green energy thing that's not going forward. $25 billion will be the start. Funding across 10 years could be up to $500 billion, but yet again, it's an insurance policy. The American electrical infrastructure cost to build it and everything else was about $100 trillion over the last 50 to 75 years. Imagine that investment just gone, smoked, never to come back.
But you propose 2 things, protecting the grid and building the Golden Dome.
Absolutely, yes, because Golden Dome is the direct response to potential enemy. Protecting, rewiring the grid is a process that we should be on now. If we made this grid a 21st century grid with replacement of parts and all of that, better circuit breaking systems, better wiring, shielding of key wiring, yes, that will cause. But yet again and again, I keep saying the same thing. It's an insurance policy. And the other key thing is, make it in the United States, because 90% of our primary large components come from overseas, and you know who's providing them.
If you could only do one first, which would it be, the Golden Dome or the protecting the grid?
Golden Dome.
You're more apt than that some rogue nation's going to do something stupid.
Right. That's the boogeyman out there. Golden Dome, and at the same time, we start rewiring our grid, which is a 5 to 10 year project, but an investment that has to be done.
Is Israel's dome, the Iron Dome, similar to the Golden Dome?
Great question, George. Iron Dome is a tactical defense system. In other words, anti-missile batteries that are fired off as the enemy missiles are coming in from Iran. We watched it on TV almost every night over the last couple of weeks. An incredible system. But that is a tactical defense system for point defense, meaning firing the missiles to attack their missiles at the very last second and blowing them up. Golden Dome is different. Golden Dome is a strategic defense system designed to knock enemy missiles down from thousands of miles away before they reach the United States.
Now, though the Israeli Iron Dome was very successful, some missiles did get through.
Yes. Somewhere between 10 to 20% did get through, which is a darn good average considering that they were intercepting up to 150 missiles a day. Or the big attack of some months past where they intercepted over 300 missiles. That's a darn good average. An EMP attack from North Korea would be anywhere from 1 to 5 weapons. We can shoot that down.
Let's take some calls with you when we come back. William Forstchen with us. His website, OneSecondAfter.com, linked up at CoastToCoastAM.com. And his books include 1 Second After, 5 years later, 1 year after, the final day.
The Coast website is now streamlined for mobile devices. Great news if you're a Coast insider or simply want to enjoy our website on your phone. Visit CoastToCoastAM.com on your iPhone or Android browser.
Heavy screams and a 42. Lighting up to burst the brains out. Yeah, this tongue is cutting too. Keep off the street cause you're in danger. 400,000 disparate. Lost in the jails in South America.
America.